There is an Olympic athlete called Sun Yang, who everybody pretty much regards as the GOAT when it comes to Olympic swimming in the nation. But the problem is he knows he's the GOAT. 2013, for example. So this was back when he was 21, 22 years old, I believe. 4 medals under his belt. He once had a run-in with the police because he was driving with a fake license. He took his Porsche out for a spin, gets into a car accident with a bus, he calls the police. So the police arrives on scene to find out he's been driving with a fake license, throws him in a detention center for a week. But the reason why the story became famous isn't even because of the crash itself. It's because one of the inmates later claimed the detention center had changed everybody's food after Sun Yang arrived. Here it is, here's the recount. Everybody was curious and found it interesting that a celebrity had come into the detention center, but that feeling quickly faded. Before Sun Yang came, we ate stir-fried meat slices and rice for every meal. The day after he arrived, our menu changed. At lunch, it was just rice and vegetables. The officers then explained that the Olympic champion wouldn't dare to eat the meat provided in the detention center, fearing that it might not be good quality and could actually harm his health. So the whole center had to change their diet in fear of a riot because they can't just provide him premium grade meat separately. So the point of that story is to tell you there are cases out there where Sun Yang wants, Sun Yang gets. This is not the only time, because ever since then, Sun Yang has been racking up gold medals and controversies, to the point where he's had about 20-something medals and way more controversies, which is a feat in itself. Somebody, in fact, made a bingo card of all the alleged devious activities this guy has gotten up to throughout the years. So if you're a fan of Sun Yang, don't read the bingo card. So here's my question, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think will happen if this guy was to ever star, perhaps, in a couple's reality TV show? Well, great question, because apparently the ex-national icon of Olympic swimming is currently drowning in manchild allegations following his appearance with his wife Dodo on the latest season of the celebrity group travel reality TV show Viva La Romance. Oh, and it is brutal. No matter who you are or what you do, having your marriage become an open discussion, that's a terrible thing to have. But the gossip, I must say, for this season of Viva La Romance is vile. So let's get into it. So before the show officially begins the travel segment, us as the audience gets taken on a day in the life of the couples that'll be traveling together, to give you a good feel of the vibes. So we'll be focusing on Sun Yang and Dodo as a couple because that's where the problems are allegedly at. So in the first segment of the show, we're at his house where he and his wife, along with his mom, are preparing dinner. And immediately, we can see the setup is that everybody has a station. Mama Sun, stationed on cooking, wife Dodo stationed on the food preparation, and Sun Yang stationed at the TV. Now that's a perfectly valid station. You know why? Because he was assigned to the TV.
不用我帮忙是吧？一个人在吃饭。
When you're assigned to the TV, there are unspoken rules. Let's cut the BS. Every dude who's been assigned to the TV station knows there's one rule to follow: stay at the TV station. There's probably a good reason why you're stationed at the TV. Sun Yang doesn't seem to be familiar with the assignment, because at about 30 minutes in, he starts feeling hungry and bored, which is a very, very dangerous combination. You're not yourself when you're bored and hungry. Starts calling for Dodo. Come here.
老婆，
那个咔咔咔咔咔。
Busy. Come here. There's something really cool on TV. Did you hear me? Come over. I can't, honey. I'm peeling something. Sun Yang's a champion, though. You gotta understand, champions never quit. Keeps calling Dodo until she caves in, puts down everything she's doing, comes over. Yes, honey, what do you need?
你听到没有？哎，老婆，你过来一下。
等等，我手湿的呢。
过来一下。
您说。
See that celebrity on the show I'm watching right now? I heard she didn't text her husband for 2 weeks before she went on that show. That's you. Oh my goodness, you feel the rage in the live chat comment section. People are like, did you seriously just call her over in the middle of all that to tell her she sucks at texting? Not a good look. So Dodo goes back to the kitchen. She gets about 5 minutes of peace. And this time, Sun Yang goes on the offensive. He leaves the station, walks to the kitchen, grabs a banana.
我不吃，谢谢，我不吃，我不吃，不是我真不吃，我真不吃。
And this man starts chasing her around the kitchen, keeps trying to give her the banana. By this point, I am pretty sure the people are like, we've seen enough, execute him. Netizens starts calling him 儿系男友. By this point, it means boyfriend who acts like your son. So essentially, right, the Olympian husband's reputation is already in shambles and he hasn't even left the house. Obviously, we're in for a ride this season. The show then kicks into second gear with something called Husband in Charge Day. where the husbands all get a mission to plan and execute an exclusive sweet moment for their wives to relax on a day out. So this is before they all officially go on a trip together with people they barely know. They have one last exclusive moment, one last couples only getaway. If I was Sun Yang, I'd put some real elbow grease into this one.
Wow.
Sun Yang gets the task and was like, I got this. I planned a romantic road trip to the Great Ming Mountain for my wife Dodo, and it looks like a wonderful date. The Great Ming Mountain looks like redemption day for Sun Yang after he was a straight up menace in the kitchen. Comes the morning, everything's good to go. Dodo gets in the car, she's excited for the trip too. She's asking all the excited for a road trip wife questions. What's the itinerary? When are we getting there? Are we going straight there? No. We'll be picking up a mysterious friend first. Oh, Dodo has that look like when you open a present and it's the last thing you want, but you try really hard to be polite about it. That's her face. It's like, oh, excuse me, sir, I didn't expect this romantic road trip to be a group project. He's not picking any of this up though, trying to be all mysterious. Guess who it is? Dodo is stressing, like, babe, I have social anxiety. Please tell me who it is so I can mentally prepare. So he kind of hints to her, it's Zhu Dan. And then in the interview, Sun Yang explains his actions, all serious. Zhu Dan is a famous host I liked to watch while I was growing up, and I wanted to invite Zhu Dan on this trip too, to play the role of a big sister so she can talk with Dodo, and maybe share some experience on their relationship and become her friend. Now, there are layers to this one. First, if you don't know who Zhu Dan is notoriously known for pandering to men. Zhu Dan is also what I would call the last person you want talking with your wife about relationship problems. Zhu Dan has left the entire internet speechless on multiple accounts for questionable relationship advice, one of which is admitting on live television that in her own marriage, her husband allegedly has a way with words whenever they argue, and proceeds to give an example where he would, and I quote, when she's mad, just leave her alone. And then a couple hours later, he'll come back and say, I'm giving you a way out now. If you don't take it, it won't be there later. And she's just like on TV, oh, works every time. So upon recruiting Zhu Dan, the relationship strategist, the couple makes their way to the Great Ming Mountain, and during the car ride, that's where Sun Yang's scheme begins to unfold. I am convinced he straight up just said to Zhu Dan before she came on, hey, can you please talk to my wife and give her some tips on how to set me less rules? Oh, you think I'm joking? Zhu Dan gets in the car, Sun Yang asks Zhu Dan. Sun Yang asks her, do you set rules for your husband? Zhu Dan replies, no, do you guys have rules in your family?
你家有规矩啊？
And then Sun Yang glances at Dodo. She does.
我的规矩是什么，老公？
家里有2个女人会说我，他们都觉得我这也不好，那也不好。
No, but you see, I feel like they do have a point. Dodo then turns to Sun Yang. What are you talking about? I literally have zero expectations for you. So they're having a back and forth. Zhu Dan's not taking any sides because she's not out to get cancelled again. It's an awkward car ride. The group soon arrives at the bottom of the Great Ming Mountain, still arguing, by the way. Had Zhu Dan pacing around the car because Sun Yang refuses to get out. Gotta settle the argument first. What's the argument on, you may ask? Why didn't you move your seat forward for me? You hear that? You know they're arguing now because they want to argue. Dodo's outside like, I'm pretty sure you said you were going to move it. And they show a clip where he did say that.
要不然我把这个椅子往前放。
没事，我来。
Dodo's like, Zhu Dan, didn't he say that? And Zhu Dan's just like, I don't know. But the couple soon recovers from the abyss as soon as the view hits, which is a very normal reaction. But that's still bad for Zhu Dan. You know why? That's where Zhu Dan quickly settles into the third wheel, the whole climb up. And this is probably the most uncomfortable I've personally seen Zhu Dan behave on any show. I feel bad for Zhu Dan. Because in her defense, if you've ever been a third wheel in a space you cannot escape, it makes me wish I could pass out on demand. Third wheeling can happen to you, your family, and data as well. Every year, over 500 million accounts get exposed globally. That's 500 million people discovering their private inbox apparently has an unauthorized third participant or multiple. That's an open relationship. Proton Mail privacy protection features says no. You see, unlike many email providers, Proton Mail doesn't scan your emails or target you with ads. All trackers are blocked by default, so your inbox stays yours, just like how your relationship should as well. Proton Mail blocks invisible email trackers to prevent companies from spying on you and building a profile for targeted ads. But even then, there may still be many bad actors out there operating at a sophisticated level, trying really hard to third wheel into your privacy. So for users needing heightened security, Proton allows you to connect via the Tor network to provide an extra layer of anonymity to prevent surveillance. Well, I wish there was an equivalent of that to stop Real life third wheeling. Oh yeah, I think it's called a gun. Protect your email from being intercepted by third parties, including hackers and government surveillance. Ensure that your personal and professional conversations remain confidential with Proton today. Use my link for a free account. So right about now, the group has that dynamic where Zhu Dan is like, I'm gonna walk ahead of you guys so I'm not interrupting your romantic day. But then Dodo is the type of person to be like, well, she's our guest. I'm going to catch up so she's not getting left out. But then Sun Yang is like, why are you going so fast? Thought this was our day. Honey, stop walking so fast. Pulls her over, starts doing that angry whisper we all do when you don't want people to hear you're angry. Babe, stop walking so fast. You're going to spend more time with me.
你稍微不要走得那么快，你这我跟你讲，你这样，哎，你就管自己走。
But the problem is, see, that it's not slick. Because Zhu Dan is about 30 centimeters away, pretending to be on her phone. She's hearing everything. But secondly, is this situation not awkward? So am I losing my mind over here, or literally none of this have happened if Sun Yang just ran this romantic couple's getaway day as a party of two? So the party of three then arrives at the top of the mountain where they settle into a tent, and that's where Sun Yang says, okay, I'll leave you guys to it, I'm gonna head off. In which Zhu Dan just straight up says, I am curious, where are you going? Preparing dinner. Oh, okay, that's fair enough. Goes off to prepare dinner whilst the girl starts chatting away at the tent. A few minutes later, he hears the girls laughing inside the tent and getting along, and that's when Sun Yang is outside slowly turning into a Victorian orphan. God, it's freezing. Treating us boys like animals. No, maybe I am born to serve, as long as they are satisfied, and he rants on.
其实不应该叫妻子的浪漫旅行，叫老公受难记。前几集我都看了，好像没有这么艰苦的环境，都没有人来给我送杯热水。你说，哎，
But hey, you planned this day. Out of all 4 husbands, by the way, who planned this romantic day segment for their wife, Sun Yang is the only one who is allegedly having a terrible time. I mean, if there's anybody having a truly terrible time, it's Dodo, because the conversation happening inside the tent is really a therapy session. Zhu Dan asks, do you have any confusions about your marriage right now? Dodo replies, he thinks I don't care enough about him, but I think he's too controlling. Then she explains that Sun Yang wants a very clingy type of relationship, he wants constant updates and emotional attention, and I'm just not naturally like that. Zhu Dan starts giving advice. Well, what if you just tried bombarding him with all the love and affection just for a day, just to see what happens, fulfill his request? Dodo immediately goes, no, because...
没有，因为
你怕打扰他。
And that's when the vibe kind of shifts, because Dodo starts explaining how much of her life revolves around managing Sun Yang's emotional state. She says if their child got sick while he was training, she probably wouldn't even tell him. Not because he couldn't handle it, but it's because her mind will automatically start jumping to all the things that could be affected. Like, well, because he's training, first of all, recovery after, massage, treatment, rest, make sure he gets plenty of that. If Sun Yang's on his phone too long, it matters because then it'll affect his shoulders, then it'll affect his recovery. And at that point, Zhu Dan just looks at her and goes,
你有没有觉得你像他妈妈？像。
The conversation gets a little serious from there onwards, because after that, Zhu Dan then says, I really want to shatter your perception right now.
哪有什么标准，哪有什么要求？其实你会不会有可能自己给自己背了很多枷锁？
Dodo then reaches the point of tears after that sentence. So by this point, again, is it just me? Or is this not a conversation Zhu Dan should be having with Dodo on top of a mountain on live television? Is this not the kind of an emotional breakthrough your husband is supposed to help you arrive at in a safe space? And work through as a team, perhaps, because right after Dodo just started unpacking years of emotional self-management in a tent with a woman she met 3-4 hours ago. I'm serious. Zhu Dan is neither friends with Sun Yang or Dodo. They've never met. Dodo herself then had to pull herself together on live television to comfort her Olympian husband who froze his balls off washing tofu. That's the flow of events, as raw as it gets. The craziest part is, I don't know if you remember the mission, this was supposed to be her romantic getaway. Because allow me to give you a glimpse of the other couples just between you and I think they are on a different show. Couple number 2 goes on a photo shoot day where it's lovey-dovey all the way. Their day looks like an advertisement for Valentine's Day. On top of all that, you find out they are basically newlyweds. You're like, okay, that is Cinderella having her fairy tale moment with Prince Charming. Carry on. Couple number 3 spends the day playing in the snow. And when they get back to the hotel, there is 99 roses waiting for her on the bed. That's the Pinterest couple. That's the couple that'll usually come on while my girlfriend is watching. Like, she'll see that and go, oh, that's cute. And I get that exact feeling like I'm playing baseball and the guy before me just hits a home run and then I hear the words, batter up. And I'm like, let's see if I can top that. Last but not least, couple number 4. The husband takes her back to the dance academy she attended before she became successful as an actress, and they spend the whole day revisiting memories together they had as kids. So I don't know how you feel after listening to the other couple's day out, but it sounds a lot better than therapy with Zhu Dan in a tent on a mountain. So after the couples complete their romantic day trip, they finally meet up for the overseas trip, where a rigorous interview process was then conducted to elect the tour guide. Guess who's the tour guide? Which honestly makes sense. I mean, he's clearly got both the organizational skill and the emotional capacity for on-spot critical thinking in a fast-paced dynamic. But no, in all seriousness, it's because out of all the husbands, he was the only one who seems like he really wanted the job. The other husbands are giving unserious answers to the tour guide interview questions because, let's be fair, you're on vacation. Me personally, I would crash out if I had to be the tour guide with Sun Yang in the group. This man pulls out a baton. The wives are all sitting there like, oh, he is not f***ing around about this tour guide thing, but he seems keen, right? So he was announced to be the tour guide. Everybody was excited, like, oh my god, we're gonna have an Olympian be the tour guide. And then the camera cuts to Dodo, and she's just sitting there flabbergasted. I think she's concerned because she knows she's gonna have to cop the complaints. Because the group then makes it approximately 3 steps into Shanghai International Airport before the first marital crisis detonates at the baggage check-in area. Because as a leader of the group, you gotta make sure everything is under control, every suitcase accounted for, every item secure. Which is exactly why Sun Yang hits the group with the most serious question of the trip so far. Do you want to apply a film to the suitcase? You know, which I think is a very valid question to ask in case the crew encounters the Qantas baggage handlers. But no, to which the group objects. I mean, what are we, pottery merchants? And that's where they get into a mild exchange, because one of the celebrities starts realizing there seems to be a holdup, so she chimes in with a perfectly normal question. What's the holdup? Dodo explains.
打什么？
打箱子，他想把那个箱子打一下。
老婆，
Okay, can we not be so honest? Can you stop contradicting me every sentence? Can you not retort to everything I say? Okay, honey?
好的。
For every word I say, you keep finding 100 reasons to talk back at me. It's making me look really bad, honey.
哦，对不起啊。
See, now, I don't know which part of Dodo's explanation here really ticked him off, but evidently his ego did not let that slide. So they're having that exchange at the front of the counter, and the whole group turns the other way. I like the fact you can literally see the moment when they realize, oh, this is a real fight. Because nobody saw that fight coming. So right about now, the vibes have clearly shifted because there's one couple that is clearly beefing with each other. If you're a couple and you argue in front of your friends and you think you hide it well, no, it's obvious. The group then departs for St. Petersburg, and upon landing, here comes hurdle number 2. 8 people, 16 luggages. Sun Yang did not organize taxis beforehand, and the travel app only takes local cards. Did somebody in the group suggest to find a travel agency or a van rental company before they transited to St. Petersburg? I think they did, but Sun Yang did not take that suggestion. Rookie mistake. Oh, but Jeff, how can they find a travel agency who's willing to take this order in such a small amount of time? Well, how about this sentence? Hello, this is a Russian car rental business. How can I help? Yes, me and 7 other celebrities with a combined following of a small country would like to book your vans for a reality show. You telling me that wouldn't work, huh? So under the immense pressure and without effective communication with half the group, even though this problem was raised pre-departure, Bro booked 6 Ubers at the information counter, all of which are sedans. I really like how the show tries to play it off like, oh no, he's doing a great job, and they cut to the camera, and it's just everybody cramped in the car. But eventually the whole team was able to evacuate the airport one by one to reach Grand Europe Hotel, and that's where they encounter hurdle number 3.
Another one.
As Sun Yang forgets to split the cash for the members, so nobody except one couple who had spare cash could pay when they arrived at the hotel.
They say they paid in the internet, no?
No.
No? Okay. How?
But of course, the group powers through. But by this point, the manchild allegations have reached a boiling point where Sun Yang's mother is now under fire, where they're saying she allegedly threatened the directors of the show for making her son look bad, which I honestly think they didn't really have to do much in that regard. Although that's just a rumor, which stemmed from how Mango TV did delete a lot of scenes. One of which is a bus scene where Dodo and Sun Yang argues to the point of tears, and the lovey-dovey husband is just like in the middle of the crossfire. So they really had to cut a lot of scenes out, which is rare considering Mango TV is usually known to do the opposite, you know, Bert might be the first celebrity to get trimmed in a positive light on Mango TV. But hey, let me know what you guys think, because I don't think going on the show was the right decision for Sun Yang.